Hi and welcome to FtLoC. Today coming to you from the end of a long day here at Castle Combe, and I'm joined by my FtLoC friend Mr. Henry Catchpole.
Hello FtLoC friend, Drew Stearne.
Yes, we'll get better at that in future, I do promise.
We'll make it more natural instead of like, actually sort of...
Yeah, less forced? Is that what
yeah,
you're going
I think
for?
so, less forced, yes.
Fair.
Yeah, less awkward, yeah.
Right, well that's helping. Let's work on that next time.
Anyway, how are we going to work on it? Are we going to go for beers or something?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, good.
But that comes later. For starters, we've had an amazing day out here and we have another one tomorrow. We have a lot of footage to show you about what we've been shooting, but I think best to tell everyone about what we've been doing is we jump back in time and into this car and head out on track. You know, we can just edit it in, you don't have to do that.
Oh, I'm still learning this stuff.
So, we're back at Castle Combe.
We are.
The unofficial, official track home of Carfection shoots since 2012. It's good to be back.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not the most glamorous track in the world, but any track that you know well and you can exploit to its fullest extent always feels a welcome place to take a car out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Castle Combe is a tricky track, and because it's so fast, I still don't feel like I know it that well, actually.
Yeah. But we're here now in the Civic Type R, which is going to be the next long-termer that we have. So likely any Castle Combe shoots that we have coming up, we're going to have a chance to exploit this car on this track.
Yeah.
So you've done a blast now. Quickly, what's your impression of the combination of this car and this track?
It's very good. This is the first time I've driven this Civic Type R on track, this generation. I mean, it's very good actually. Really, really good.
I had
It's quite slippery out here this morning.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy to manage.
The real reason we're here is not just to have some fun out in here, but yeah, we've got one of our large-scale epic shoots going on.
We have.
We're just passing them now.
Yeah.
In fact, as we snake past Quarry Corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I need one hand. It's good.
5 BMWs. So, talk us through what we're filming today.
We are filming what I think must be the ultimate M3 test, because we have got the pinnacle of every generation of M3 out there. So it starts with the E30 M3, of course, but we've got the Sport Evo, which was the last of the line, the one with the 2.5 litre engine in it, the bigger 2.5 litre engine. Then the E36, so the ultimate generation of that, or ultimate iteration of that, sorry, was the GT, of which then you produced 356, again done for homologation purposes. Next up, E46 Csl, which most people are very aware of, wonderful sound. Then we've got the E92 GTS, the orange one, very rare car indeed, of course, V8. And then finally we've brought along one from BMW Press Garage, because all the others are actually owned by one very generous owner. We've got the F80 M3 CS, which obviously now it's probably the most controversial one to have in the test, because of course there's the M4 GTS, which is but that's an M4, it's not an M3, so that's why, and we haven't done anything on the M3 CS either, so I thought it would be nice to keep the M3s there. Absolutely.
It brings up an interesting point really about whether is the new M3 a true continuation of the M3s, or should we consider the M4 to be that continuation in spirit, or is it just divergent? Is it just two parts of the same experience? Which is it?
It's I mean, yeah, of course the M4 is really, that's the one that's I suppose
that's the one that's got the GTS versions. That's the one that's got that.
Exactly, it's the coupe. It's a two-door. So which all the others are two doors. I mean, there was the M3 CRT, which was the four-door version of the GTS, which is actually even rarer than the E92 GTS. But yeah, it's nice to keep it all M3, isn't it? I think.
I mean, the cars speak for themselves in terms of the performance and their aptitude as cars. But what is it about the M3 in particular that you think captured people's imaginations and became such an aspirational car for each generation that came through? What about them really hammered home for people, do you think?
I think it was, well, obviously the 3 Series was a car, it sat at that right point in the range whereby it was accessible to more people. You know, it's a car that people could dream of owning one day. You know, it wasn't ridiculously expensive, and I think it's sort of, obviously it's got the motorsport pedigree as well. I mean, the wonderful images of whether you like touring cars or rallying. It was the E30 generation that really set it all up, and then in a way everything's kind of sort of fed off it after that, because the E36 wasn't really that well received, certainly in the motoring press at the time, but people then wanted the E46 to recapture something of the E30, so, and the Csl sounds wonderful, and it's just, but it has always, I think, built from that E30. These days, it's arguably the M2's actually taken over.
This is it. Like, you look at the size of the M2 compared to the E30, and they seem far more comparable as a package. In the same way that maybe we run things like the Up GTI, maybe having more in common with the Golf GTI, original Golf GTI.
Yes.
So
well, I've been in an M2 competition for the last couple of weeks, because we've been doing a film on that, which will be coming to the channel at some point.
Yeah.
And it was interesting jumping straight out of that into the F80 M3 CS and feeling just how much of a bigger car that M3 really does feel.
But we'll cover all of this and more in not just one video, but an entire series of videos on the M3 covering this wonderful selection of cars that we're about to drive past yet again out here on circuit. It's going to be well worth your time. Make sure that you have hit the notification icon on the channel to make sure that you do not miss a single one. I guarantee it will be worth it.
Hopefully, anyway, providing I actually remember what I've got to say. I'm immersed in M3 history at the moment. I just feel like I'm oozing M3 history from every pore. I've just got to get it out there on camera now.
Is that what that is?
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't think there's any sort of pill or cream that's going to help it.
But what's also interesting is not just what we're doing or what content we're filming, it's how we do it. And we're privileged enough to be able to put together these collections of cars through the helpful collaboration from manufacturers and private owners alike. But it's making it all work in one sweet, simultaneously effortless and hard-working unit that makes the kind of videos that you like to watch. So we have to take you through what it takes to make the kind of films that we do here. We've come out to circuit with 6 cars that we're shooting, another 2 or 3 cars just to transport people, a car transporter. We've got 4 video producers, we have a production assistant, and Henry, and I'm around as well. So Henry plays his part, he turns up, he says some words, it's brilliant. But it's worth noting how hard the crew have to work. We talk about the shoots that we do on FtLoC all the time, but it's hard to know exactly how much technical specificity you'd like us to go into. So if there's anything in particular you want us to highlight, let us know in the comments. Back here, getting increasingly car sick, is Matt Murray. Hi Matt. He's, are you feeling car sick? No, he's doing
nice and leisurely.
Nice and leisurely. I'm not entirely sure how well it's coming across, but Henry's probably at, I don't know, 7th or 8th, 10th going around this circuit while we're talking, which is that's accurate?
Yeah, 7.
7. Now we're fortunate that we've been able to squeeze in 2 whole days out here on track, which means that we've got a bit more time than we usually would have, but we have a huge amount to do. Now, in order to get all of the films done, we have to shoot statics on all of the cars that we have. We We have to do Henry's pieces to camera, both outside the car and inside the car. We have to do drone shots. We have to do tracking shots. We do car-to-car shots where we have our support car, which in this case is going to be the Civic Type R, being our new long-termer. It's going to be both something to enjoy out on track like this, but also a workhorse to put camera people in the back. All this is happening with a team of 4 video producers working incredibly hard.
I'm going to say, putting camera people in the back, it sounds a bit like we're smuggling them around and sort of they're trying to sort of...
No, but there's a real art to filming out of the back of a car, because you're facing the wrong direction from which way the car is traveling, and you're encouraging another car to get as close to you as is possible while driving. I mean, obviously we can't drive at these speeds doing car to car because it's very difficult to drive with a camera person in the back without them flailing around, but we want to try and bring across the idea of how fast these cars can move and bring a sense of dynamic traveling.
Dynamism.
Dynamism.
Yeah.
Every time I try to say the word dynamism, I kind of bail out halfway through thinking that's not a word.
So I thought I'd go for it. I knew you were...
Dynamism. With the car to car, there's a precision to it, there's an art to it that I really enjoy, because it's slightly higher risk. You know, you're in close proximity, and you can only do it if you're confident in the driver of the other car. One thing that we have to battle, and we are definitely going to have to battle it on this track, is the weather.
Yes.
Being in Britain, we have zero guarantees at the best of times about what the weather is going to be like. But if you have a 2-day shoot, the disadvantage is that you might have completely different weather from one day to another. So it's looking like it's going to be dry today, but raining tomorrow. Now, we'll be able to show you that in some of the behind-the-scenes footage, how it rains tomorrow and not today. But it will be a case of, can we balance it in the final film, because we're having to do some stuff today and some stuff tomorrow. It's all going to be mixed together. And
continuity is tricky.
Yeah, continuity is going to be difficult to achieve, and we're going to have to cheat in some ways to make it feel like one coherent whole. And that will come down to Charlie and George doing a good job in the edit as well, because obviously the filming is just half the story. The last piece of the puzzle comes from it all being mashed together in the edit. Now, we're not just producing one film on the history of the M3. We have a whole series coming to the channel very, very soon. 5 individual episodes covering the highlights.
Might even be a 6th, actually.
Yeah, well, yet to be decided, but they will be coming to the channel very, very soon. But you'll have to watch out on the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. And how do you do that? Hit the notification icon and make sure you don't miss a single video that we put out, and you too will be able to enjoy the magnificence that's going to be this series on the BMW M3.
That's good.
It's a good word, isn't it? So that... Yes, indeed, that's what we've been doing today, and we'll be doing tomorrow in this weird time mix-up that we call video editing. But the channel's had lots of stuff coming through of it recently, namely a couple of films with you in it that I wanted to touch on really briefly. For starters, something quite personal. We had a look at your Escort.
Yes.
For anyone who hasn't watched that film, if they were able to click on it.
Who hasn't watched? I mean, honestly, it's like the best thing the channel's ever had, isn't it?
Surely. I can't disagree with that, but what would people be able to expect if they had a look?
They would be able to expect, it's me talking around my 1979 Mark II Escort rally car, which I've had for getting on for, I don't know, 8-9 years now, something like that. And it hasn't done much rallying, largely through a lack of funds, basically, and gumption on my part. I'm sure if I wasn't doing this job every day and playing with cars all the time, perhaps I would have got it out.
If you weren't driving so many cars, you'd be able to drive more cars.
Exactly, something like that. But yeah, I love it. So it's a bit of a look around that and see if people are interested, which apparently people are, because they got lots of thumbs up. So thank you very much. I'm glad you're interested, and it's coming on a pace. It's got 2 new fuel pumps since we did that. So wow, I know, lovely, beautiful facet fuel pump. So it's, that's all good, and hopefully you might get it out in the next week or so.
Really, actually going to take it out?
Yeah, I mean, you know, not rally it. No, we just need to go and shake it down. So we'll probably go to Bilgwyn Rally School or something like that, and just put it through its paces, see what's wrong, what needs doing, carbs needs setting up, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think yeah. Should be good.
One thing that you didn't touch on in the film that I'm quite interested about is how did it come into your possession in the first place? How did you find it?
So I'd been looking to buy a house for a long time. I'd lived in all sorts of hovels basically, and saved up lots of money for a deposit on a house. Hobbit. Basically, yes. And then there was the recession and all that, and the house market was rubbish. So I had this deposit, and eventually I cracked. And I'd been looking for a Mark II for a while, and then somebody emailed me and said, "Oh, how about this one? It's kind of possibly what you want." And it was somebody was using it as a road car for sort of Tour of the Lakes and that sort of thing. And so it was sort of too much for anyone that wanted a road car Escort, but it wasn't quite enough for anyone that wanted to go straight in for a rally car. So it was perfect. It was a bit of a project, and but it had pretty much most of the right bits on it and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it came into my possession. I think I paid, I think it was 10 or 11. I think it was £11,000 for it.
And what
probably 10.5.
And is it something you're making money on, or is it like a bit of a sinkhole of cash?
Sure. I just don't look at it because I don't want to get rid of it. It doesn't owe me anything, and therefore I don't want to be driving through a forest thinking, oh, is this worth this much? Oh, it's worth that much. You know,
it kind of defeats the point. Yeah,
it's just not what I've got the car for. So yeah, I'm not. It wasn't bought as an investment, and until I absolutely definitely have to need to sell it, I'm not getting rid of it. So I think it doesn't matter at that point.
We've done films on cars that Alex has, and now we've got interest from other people on the Carfection team who also want to talk about the cars that they own.
George,
yes. Charlie, who's over there. So if you are interested, let us know in the comments, and we can definitely make time to do features on those cars and maybe some more on Henry's car.
My Clio as well. We'll do something on that as well.
And
people
Henry's
seem
Clio.
interested in that apparently.
Yeah, everyone else on the team owns really nice cars. I don't. There you go. I just drive them.
Well, sort it out then. You know, it's gonna. London, perfect place to keep a car.
Too many kids. Now, new cars. You got to drive the Stelvio Quadrifoglio.
Quadrifoglio, yeah.
Quadrifoglio. You don't pronounce the G. Yeah. There's a film up on the channel. It was a quick in and out in Scotland, wasn't it?
It was, so to speak. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We flew up early that morning from Heathrow to Glasgow. Picked the car up there and went up the Duke's Pass, which was very lovely this time of year, and it didn't rain, which was, well, not all the time, a little bit. George is scowling at me there. All right, it didn't rain that much. It was quite damp.
You were in a car. He was outside the car.
No, I had to stand outside the car as well. I was faffing around doing statics and stills. It's kind of.
That's why you hide in the boot.
Yeah, is it
dry boot?
Yeah, but then he drives off and turns his hijack. That's going back to the conversation. Anyway, yes, it was. If you like small SUVs, it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
You know, a Porsche Macan, I didn't mention this in the film, but the Porsche Macan is less expensive than that, which puts it in some sort of perspective. Because do you want a Porsche or do you want an Alfa? It's quite a sort of...
Yeah.
But it is good fun to drive, and it sounds fantastic. I mean, it's that power plant, they've done such a good job. I know it had input from Ferrari, the guys that did the turbocharging on the Ferraris and most of the California most recently. Well, that was 488 GTB, but California initially, that guy came over, did that engine, and it's fabulous. So yeah, it's a cool thing. If you like small SUVs, see it.
Well, still on the spirit of SUVs, but on the topic of long-termers, it was a sad day, but we had to say goodbye to the Discovery Sport. Really, if you had to sum it up in just a few sentences, the time that we spent with the car, it's been quite a while. Like most of this year, we spent with it, and you've done more miles than anyone else in it. What is your overriding feeling of the car?
I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to, and I say that because long terms I've run in the past have always been very sporty. I know this has sport in its name, but let's face it, it's and I know it's the sportiest one. So I was a bit I know it would be a very good support car for us on shoots and things like that, but I really enjoyed having that car in my life much more than I thought I would, and I explain a bit more about that in the final film that we've done. So I did enjoy it, and it was a fantastic long distance car as well. So
if you have any specific questions about what it's like to live with a Discovery Sport over a longer period of time, on YouTube you can leave it in the comments below, or find us on Twitter at Carfection, or on Instagram at Carfection Films, or on Facebook and ask us a question. But I guess it's time to announce what the next Carfection long-termer is. The clue is what we're actually sitting on. It is the Civic Type R, Honda's finest hot hatchery. That's weird. Don't do that. It is a wing. We found that when you drive with that open, the wing forces the boot lid down. Oh, all the joys that we're going to find out as we use this as a long-termer. We have got a fix for that, and you'll see that in some behind-the-scenes footage. Equally, if you have questions that we should answer over the next couple of months with this amazing piece of Japanese Honda-ness. I like hot hatchery as a phrase. Hot hatchery.
Reminds me of Aldous Huxley in Brave New World. Hatcheries.
Indeed. Then please also find us on the social networks and in the comments on YouTube, and leave us a question of things that you want us to find out about this car. It's been a crazy day out on track, and we've got a whole other day ahead of us.
Yeah.
So it's got time for us to wrap up on a shorter than usual episode of FtLoC. Thank you so much for being part of the FtLoC family and watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to have hit the notification icon to make sure you're notified when our next
I'm sure
one
they
comes
have.
out.
They're a good bunch out there.
You are our best fans
You've
by
asked
now.
them, and you know.
And there is an extended version of this, audio-only version, as a podcast, which you can find wherever you find your podcasts. Look for Carfection, For the Love of Cars, and you will find it, and it will be downloaded automatically to whatever device you listen on. It's probably your phone.
Probably, isn't it? Yeah.
It's phones. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you.
Walkman, perhaps, isn't it?
Yes, download it to your Walkman. Goodbye.